Bob Jones University, Greenville, South Carolina, April 30th, 1952. Dear friend, as my first year at Bob Jones University closes out, the Lord has laid a particular burden upon my heart. I have seen the need, and I am going to do something about it. In order to promote my evangelistic work this summer, I've purchased a film and a projector. The film was one of Dr. Bob Sr.'s famous sermons titled, "You Can't Win." It is a heart-stirring message that reveals sin and its consequence. This is Unusual Film's latest production and promises to be one of the best. Already, through its showing, many have accepted Christ as their Savior. Of course, expenses will be very great, but if this will further the work of the Lord, I am willing to sacrifice. As I am a student here at school, it is easily conceived that finances are drained out rapidly. I have merely plunged out on faith and bought this projector. I wonder, has the Lord laid it on your heart to give to a cause to further the gospel of salvation? If so, please consider this matter, and if the Lord sees fit for you to give to this, it will be greatly appreciated by me. However, if you are unable to give, you can at least back me up in prayer. God says in Mark 16:15, "Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." This is my commission. I must obey. Won't you join in with me and pray, and if you are financially able, give. Yours for the salvation of souls, Milton Kaysen. Tuesday morning. Hi, honey. Well, I'll just write a note before the postman comes to tell you the happenings. Your mother called this morning to say that something is wrong with the car, and it is in the shop. We had planned to leave this afternoon, and Mrs. Lennington called her to say that Mrs. Sumner was in Graham, so she wants to go by there tomorrow. We plan to leave early in the morning to go by Graham for a while, then go on to Jackie's for the night. I wish I was home now, but, well, your mother talked to your dad yesterday, said he went by the house Sunday afternoon, but you weren't there. Kay's mother wanted to buy the house, but I think that they have changed their minds. She has another prospect, too. Hon, have you missed me? I hope so. I hope you have, but a little bit. I guess you will get this the day that I get home, and I may even be there to receive it. But I thought I would write, just in case we didn't get to leave. I have so much to tell you. I wish I was there in your arms. Or does that sound silly? Yes, Phil misses you too. Bye, honey. I love you. William Phil. June 7th, 1954, Sunday afternoon. Dearest Billy, in a hurry as usual. This is the first time I've had to write, and I guess you're having a good time. I've had so much to do to even think, and I just got back from the Max for dinner. Party was a big success. Choir was packed and overflowing. Amen. Better hurry home. I'm tired of beans. Haven't had time to fix anything else. And how's that boy of mine? Bet he won't know me. Miss me? I sure miss you. Dad hasn't been by to see me. Sure has been hot. Wait till you see my new hat. Bought it with at Penny's on sale. Gotta go. Be good. Be sweet. And come home. All my love, Milt. Happy birthday and love to my wife. Birthday greetings, sweetheart. And special wishes too, from a husband who's been happy since the day we said, I do. You've been a perfect sweetheart and a wonderful pal and wife. And dear, I wish you happiness every day of your life. Your loving husband, Milt. November 26, 1956. Dear Billy and kids, arrived here safely at 11:45 a.m., enjoyed the trip very much, and didn't even get sick. The only thing wrong was that there wasn't enough of it. By the time I got settled, it was about 1 o'clock. So then I went to the shop and went right to work. Sure a nice lab. Ought to really learn something from it. Kind of lonesome, and I'll write more tomorrow. So hi to the kids. Love, Milt. Happy birthday. A little late. Got delayed a bit, but anyway, there were too many wishes for just one day. Many happy returns for Pop and Grandpop. Love from Billy, Milt, and Phil, and Carol. Thursday. Dearest Mother and Dad, So I've waited so long to write, and we have been so busy lately. Milton had to take his vacation this week and next. We were so disappointed because we had planned to go to Colorado in June, but we had no choice. We're in Longview now. We left Abilene Monday and stayed the night with Milton's sister in Dallas, and Mrs. Kaysen came with us, and she's there now. We planned to stay here until Monday and then pick up Mrs. Kaysen and go to Tulsa for just a few days to visit Milton's grandparents and relatives that I've never met. We plan to come back through Wichita and leave there Sunday, and I don't know just when we'll get there. Probably Thursday or Friday. Gwen, Ray, Milt, and I are going to Shreveport and spend the night Friday and fish Saturday. That's all the vacation we'll have. I had to quit my job, but I was glad to. We heard about the tornado last night. I hope you didn't have much damage. It's a miracle that there wasn't anyone killed. I know this isn't much, but I must get it mailed. Love to all, Billy and family. Dear Mother, well, we stayed in the lodge long enough. It doesn't matter about me, but Mom was pretty hurt because you don't ever seem interested in visiting with her. I know you're busy, but she hasn't been feeling very well lately, and who knows how long that might last. Incidentally, Mama told me not to bawl you out, but my righteous indignation was up. Gwen wrote that they won't be getting a vacation this year as they were short of pressmen, so Ray plans to work and make double time. They might get to come sometime for a weekend, though. Freddie and Glenda were planning to come, but I don't know when. Where were Pat and Weldon planning to go on their vacation? They talked about going where we went. I guess Ginger is glad to get out of school. Where is she staying in the daytime now? Mother, why couldn't you get a college girl to come down part-time and relieve you for a couple of days a week? After all, people can learn to answer the phone. I think it would be well worth a few dollars a week to get acquainted with your children. Well, I must write Freddie and see when they are coming and make a dress for Joanne. We love you muchly. Billy, Milton, Phil, and Carol. July 29, 1958. Dearest Mother-in-law, I am writing this in the westbound train, so it's apt to be quite wiggly. We're on our way to Patsy's, though she doesn't know it. I wrote that I was coming, but I didn't say when. The train was as cheap as the bus and much more comfortable. I thought about driving, but this is safer and easier. We will probably come back Saturday. I understand from Mama that Pat has some sewing for me to do. Barbara has another baby girl born July the 4th, and I wrote that I might come up, but as usual, she didn't answer. Thanks for answering so soon, even though I didn't, and also for the clippings. The kids are so excited about going on the train. Phil nearly drove me nuts asking me when we were going. Thursday night. Well, here I am again. I've been pretty busy since I've been here. I made Pat a bright red sheath dress yesterday, and today I'm making a pink and white silk one. She might get the material for another while I'm here. The girl across the street kept the kids this afternoon while I went to town with Pat. I shopped and bought a metal and plastic purse, which I needed badly. I was ashamed of the one I had to bring. The kids have been pretty good since we've been here. I bought Carol a white straw purse, her first one, and Phil a plastic model car, which Weldon put together for him this afternoon. Everybody else is asleep, but I had to finish this. When is Ginger going to come up to stay with me and also come here? I could make her something while she's there if you want me to. Pat said she was out of clothes. Mom, are you still going to the doctor? How are you and Dad feeling? I know you will enjoy your trip. We sure would like to go. I'm about to go to sleep. We love you. Billy, Milt, and kids.
In Pittsburgh, PA, deep in the heart of Texas, and round the Frisco Bay, all over St. Louis, and down in New Orleans, all the cats wanna dance with sweet little 16.
Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, poor boy, you're bound to die. I met her on the mountain.
Sweet, sweet, he rocks in the treetop all the day long, hopping and a bopping and a singing his song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin go tweet, 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 rockin' robin, sweet, sweet, rockin' robin, sweet, sweet, slow rockin' robin.
Sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at supper time. Be my little sugar and love me all the time. Honey in the morning, honey in the evening, honey at supper time. So be my little honey and love me all.
Just a dream, just a dream.
Just a dream.
All our plans and all our schemes. How could I think you'd be mine?
You'd be mine.
Going down the valley, going one by one. We're gonna be rewarded for the things we've done. How you gonna feel about the things you'll say on that judgment day? Well, everybody's gonna have religion and glory. Everybody's gonna be singing that story. Everybody's gonna have a wonderful time up there.
Tuesday. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Hatcher, sorry I haven't written, but it seems I have so much to take care of, and I brought Phil home Wednesday. He is good, but requires attention. People have been so wonderful here and elsewhere too, but still, the responsibility is great. It's so lonely with Billy away, and if we had only hope in this life, we'd be most miserable. But the Bible tells us of a wonderful land where absent from the body is present with the Lord. We know Billy had saving faith, so we can rest our minds in peace that she is with the Lord and singing in his heavenly choir. Philip has asked several times, bless his little heart. He's really a dear. It's raining, and Phil just said, it's raining where Mommy is? Up in heaven? I said, no. It's beautiful up there. He said he wanted to go too. So he realizes more than we think he does. Milton is resting much easier, but we still have a night nurse with him. He doesn't like to be alone. His nurse said last night that he has great Christian character. He'll be in traction about 5 more weeks, then a cast. I still have to feed him too. I haven't written to Gwen, so you pass on the latest. We know Phil and Carol mean a lot to you, and we want to share them, but staying with a babysitter might not be too good at this time. Brother Summer wrote Milton a nice letter enclosed Job 1:21. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Also Deuteronomy 29:29. Brother and Mrs. Masters had the same sorrow about 5 years ago. You remember? She was killed in a car wreck by a drunk man. They can give you comfort if you call them. Must hurry. Sincerely, Marcel Kaysen. Thursday, December 4th, 1958. Dear Mom and Dad, I haven't heard from you in several days, but I expect to get a letter today. I don't write often because it is so uncomfortable to write in bed. I'm past the halfway mark now, so it won't be long. I'm really anxious to get back on my feet. I just thought you might be interested in my case against Gray Brown, the fellow who is now dead that ran over us. Well, to begin with, my lawyer has found that, to his knowledge, Brown had no liability. Further, he has evidently no estate. It seems strange to me that he is broke, and yet I have found out that he had a regal funeral. I'm about to get disgusted with my lawyer. Brown was a Mason, and so is my lawyer. And I'm beginning to wonder if blood is thicker than water. I'm sure disgusted. It seems cruel that 2 little kids that have lost their mommy are going to come out of this thing with nothing. I know that Brown, being an attorney and former judge, that he is bound to have something. I think the reason he didn't have liability insurance was because he was a literal sot. They found bottles of vodka in his car the night of the accident. I guess I shouldn't be so bitter, but I guess I'm fed up. The kids got their presents. They seemed real tickled. Phil thought that one of the pair of panties were for him. He really raised Cain about it. The kids have both been pretty nice, but them and me together is almost too much for Mother. My aunt in Tulsa, Oklahoma, is dying to keep Carol a while. She has one little girl that wants Carol to play with so bad. Of course, I'll really miss her, but I think it will really help her. She really grew up while she was with Jackie and Gwen. I guess you're ready for a shock. I haven't told you this because I really didn't know how. You know that I have always felt called to preach. I just never felt able to go to school and prepare myself. It was Billy's desire that I fulfill this. We had planned to start the cemetery next fall. Well, now I am more determined than ever to go ahead and start in that direction. I've never been as happy doing anything as I am in the Lord's work. As soon as I am able, I plan to enter Hardin-Simmons University. This may or may not please you, but this is what I have got to do. I think that I am where I am now because of putting this thing off. When God calls, he expects an answer. Billy is happy in heaven now, and I know that this will please her. Heaven is a reality to me, and I believe Billy knows everything that is going on down here. My prayer is that you will live for God and trust him for all of your needs. I guess that this letter is a little strange, but I've been wanting to get this off my chest, and I hope you're all fine and come see me before too long. Love, Milt, Carol, and Phil. Wednesday, January 28, 1959. Dear Mom and Dad, got your letter the other day, so I'll try to answer in time to get this in the mail today. It looks like a nice day outside, except that it is awfully windy. I have been sick with a head cold for the past week, and I'm just now getting over it. Boy, have I been miserable. Well, I am still in the cast, and it will be a couple of weeks before I can go back to the doctor, and maybe then I will get out of this cast. It has been so long now that it feels like it's part of me. I don't let it get me down anymore, though. Anytime I get a chance to go, it's awfully inconvenient, though. Someone has to come after me, load my wheelchair in the car, and then bring me home afterwards. I go to church and Sunday school both morning and night, nearly every Sunday. Monday night I went to a church supper over at Trinity Baptist Church. It's the church we used to go to before we changed to Corinth Baptist Church. Mother's father isn't doing too well. He lives in Tulsa. He is 91 and nearly bedfast. Mother doesn't think he will live much longer, so she is anxious to go up there. I'd love to go, but I don't know whether I could make it in my cast or not. I guess we will go to Dallas first, and I will stay with my sister Jackie while Mother and Phil go on to Tulsa by train. I sure would love to see my little girl, but if I did, it might make me want to bring her home. I just can't bring her home till I am out of this cast. All three of us is just too much for Mother. From all the letters that I get from Tulsa, she is really having a wonderful time anyway. She hasn't forgotten me either. In the last letter, she told me to get my cast off and come up there. They say that she's the sweetest thing that has ever come along. The dentist came to my house to take my impression for my new teeth last Saturday. He even brought his portable drill to make the slots in my teeth for the clamps that he is going to put on my new teeth. They will be better teeth than the temporary set that he made, and so I was in the hospital. The cost of these four front teeth was $305. That's pretty expensive teeth, isn't it? Well, he didn't charge me as much as he could have with either. I found a very sweet poem in a church paper the other day that means a lot to me, so I'm going to copy it for you all. And here it is. For my mother in heaven, I would not have you grieve for me today, nor weep beside my vacant chair. Could you but know my daily portion here, you could not wish me there. I know now why he said, ear hath not heard. I have no words, no alphabet, or even if I had, I dare not tell, because you could not bear it yet. So only this, I am the same, though changed, like him. A joy more rich and strong than I had dreamed that any heart could hold. And all my life is one glad song. Sometimes when you are talking to our Lord, he turns and speaks to me. Dear heart, in that rare moment, you and I are just the distance of a word apart. And so, my loved ones, do not grieve for me or in the family board today. Instead, rejoice, for we are one in him, and so I am not far away. Isn't that a wonderful poem? It's wonderful to be able to go to the Lord in prayer. Since I read this, it means so much as I can almost talk to Billy. It's wonderful to know how happy she is. Well, if I want to get this in the mail today, I'd better close. If we go, I'll write you from Dallas. Love always, Milton. Monday, February 9th, 1959. Dear Mom and Dad, it's been some time since I've heard from you, but I guess you are all been pretty busy. This is the big week for me, as Friday is supposed to be the day that the cast comes off. Of course, there is the possibility that my leg won't be ready again, but this time I have a feeling it will be. One reason I'm writing you is in regard to my lawyer. It's been 4 months since the accident, and he hasn't even filed a suit of any kind. I have called him several times to give him more information, that I had received. One thing was that I found out that Gray Brown had $10,000 in life insurance in the estate that he knew nothing about. It seems like that he simply has no interest in my case. Gene, I wish that you could come down and talk with Mr. Smith. If after you talk to him and you think that he is not doing the job, well, maybe we can talk him into dropping the case. Of course, we have a contract with him, and he would have to be willing to drop the case before we could secure another lawyer. When we took Mr. Smith on, he came highly recommended. Daddy doesn't seem to want to talk to him, Mr. Smith, so I sure wish you would, Gene. I'm afraid that if I wait too much longer that it will be too late to do anything. Do you think the lawyer that you know would still be willing to take this case? Saturday we were out driving and stopped by Henderson Monument Company. All graves are going up as of the 15th of February, so we thought that we had better go ahead and buy one. I am very pleased with it. It is granite and pink tweed design. It'll be ready within 2 weeks to a month. Maybe you can come down to see it after it is laid. I sure would like to see all of you. I finally got my new teeth. They sure are nice. In fact, you can't even tell that they are false just to look at them. They clamp on so they won't flop around when I eat or talk. My mouth feels like it is full of metal, but I'll get used to it. We went over to Grandma's last Thursday night and I had supper with them. Joe Rex picked me up out of the car and carried me in the house. I think that I was almost too heavy for him. We enjoyed our visit, though. I'm sending you a letter we received from my aunt in Tulsa. Some of it isn't about Carol, but I thought you'd enjoy it. Love, Milt. Tuesday, February 17th, 1959. Dear Mom and Dad, Friday the 13th was my lucky day. I went to the doctor, and without even an x-ray, off came the cast. Finally, after 4 long months, I'm out of my prison. You should have seen me, though. As soon as he finished taking the cast off, he said for me to get down from the table, and believe it or not, I was afraid to. Finally, after a lot of persuasion, I attempted to get down. I turned a pale shade of green and nearly passed out, but finally made it into the wheelchair. After I drank a Coke, I was much better. Of course, for the rest of the day, I was real scared of hurting my leg, and Friday night I was allowed to have my first bath, and what a treat that was. The only thing is that I got the water in a little too hot and nearly passed out before I could get back to bed. Of course, I am still not allowed any weight on the leg, so I have to hobble around on crutches. Sometimes they're a little inconvenient, and Saturday I spent the day with our neighbors on Bowie Street. You remember the ones that were Jewish? They showed me a real good time, and I didn't get home until 10 p.m. Sunday. I was at church for an all-day meeting, and yesterday I went visiting at the hospital. My legs stay swelled most of the time, and I cannot bend the knees joint as yet, but that will come with exercise. I feel wonderful, and I can't get enough going. I hope to be able to come see you soon and get back to the doctor Friday week to be fitted for a brace. Then I can do anything I want to do. Yes, the house is rented to a lieutenant in the Air Force. They are a fine couple, and I'm getting $100 per month. They're taking very good care of the place, and I'm well pleased with them. My attorney's name is A.J. Smith, Jr., 1206 South Commercial, Anson, Texas. Phone number 2731. Office. I'll appreciate anything you can do. Must close and get this in the mail. Love always, Milt. Tuesday, April 14th, 1959. Dear Mom and Dad, I started a letter on the typewriter this morning while I was working at the church, but got interrupted and didn't get it finished. I spend a great part of my day working down at the church. It is a good experience for me, too. I really have a lot to do at church now. I teach a Sunday school class, play the piano, and now I am the president of our training union on Sunday night. This last Sunday night, I took over my job as song leader. My leg is really progressing rapidly now. Most of the time, I walk with only one crutch, and I can take about 10 or 12 steps without the crutches at all. I went to the doctor's as soon as I got home, and he said for me to begin trying to walk. So after 2 weeks I'm doing it, I have so much to be thankful for. The doctor is going to let me start treatments at the West Texas Rehabilitation Center in the next few days. That will get me back to walking normal sooner than if I just practiced walking. The best news, though, is that I can start back to work in the next week to 10 days. That is, the doctor will allow me to, and I don't know if Lane Wells will let me come back to work under limited liability. To begin with, I won't be able to work ever over 4 or 5 hours a day, and then gradually work back to an 8-hour day. Beginning May the 4th, Brother Peak and I will begin a 2-week revival meeting at the Rose Avenue Baptist Church in Breckenridge. He will be preaching, and I'll be directing the music. I'm really looking forward to it, and it sure would be nice if you all could come down for a service or two during the meeting. We don't know for sure whether Phil had scarlet fever or not. He never broke out, but the penicillin might have stopped that. He did have a terrible chest cold, though. I picture Carol was sure a darling one, wasn't it? According to Rachel Lee, she is still happy and contented. Well, it's late, and I must get to sleep. Love always, Milt and Phil. Friday, September the 18th, 1959. Dear Mabel and Jean, I'm sorry that I have waited so long to write you and inform you of my marriage to Bland Atkinson. I am the world's greatest procrastinator, and I'm prone to putting off telling things that should not be received secondhand. However, I think that you will thoroughly approve of my choice. She was formerly my nurse when I was first admitted to the hospital last October. We completely lost track of one another until about 2 months ago when I was back in the hospital to have that tumor removed. I asked her for a date while I was up there, and the whole thing sort of mushroomed from that. I guess that I knew right away that this was the girl for me. Anyway, it wasn't but a short time after that I asked her to marry me. Surprisingly enough, she said yes. At first we thought that we'd wait till midterm, but after we made a trip to Fort Worth to get me a place to live while I was attending seminary, we decided that there was no reason to wait. We were as ready as we would ever be. That was Friday, August 28th. On our way home, we correlated ideas for a fairly formal wedding on September 5th. They gave us a whole week to plan everything. I quit Lane Wells the next day, and boy, you should have seen what we went through the next week. Somehow or another, we managed to get everything ready by the following Saturday. We had the wedding in Hospital Chapel at 7 p.m. Incidentally, while we were in Fort Worth, we went ahead and rented a place to live. After a 2-day honeymoon trip, we came back to Fort Worth, and the next morning, I started to school. Wow, what hectic way to plan a marriage. Anyway, we were gloriously happy. Of course, I want you to meet Bland. Incidentally, her name was Dorothy Bland Atkinson. I know that you will like her. As to what is going on right now, well, Bland went to work at All Saints Hospital yesterday. It is all brand new, and I think that she likes it really well. Seminary is really beginning to get tough. I had my first test this morning on the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, and it sort of separated the men from the boys. Well, I think I'll wind up being in the boys' class. The church in Abilene is having a shower for Bland on September 25th, so we'll be going back there for that. We went back to Abilene last weekend, so that Philip could have his dental surgery done. He had 3 teeth pulled and 5 capped with stainless steel. They put him to sleep in the hospital to do it. Of course, it was a little expensive to do it, but it had to be done. We hope to have both of the kids over here with us as soon as possible, at least by Thanksgiving. However, I need to get settled in the job first. I'm not working at anything at the present time, and I hope you get to meet Bland before too long. I must close for now. Please excuse the horrible typing, but it has been so long since I've typed that I've all but forgotten how. Love to all, Bland and Milt. Monday, November 9th, 1959. Dear Mom and Dad Hatcher, I'm sorry that I've neglected so long in writing you, but I'm sure you can understand since you know of the recent ordeal we went through in Tulsa. I guess that I sort of expected that it would turn out this way from the first. but at the time the decision was made, I wasn't in a position to do anything else. I only wish that there was some way to handle the situation without causing a lot of trouble. Rachel Lee and John don't think that I've shown the right kind of interest in Carol. As of now, they say we don't even have a suitable home to raise them in. They don't think Bland should work at all. As long as I'm in school, she will have to help some. I wish there was a way, but there just isn't. We have a place big enough for both kids, and we're all ready for them. And Phil is ready to come anytime. As soon as this term of kindergarten is over, we will get him. Carol doesn't even want to come home with us. From what I can see, she's been deliberately drawn away from us. Bland loves both kids, and it hurts her to think that she's being deliberately kept from us. Carol even acted as if she really loved Bland, even though we were only there a couple of days. If I can't settle this peaceably, I guess we'll have to do something else. Bland and I went to Longview this weekend. We had a wonderful time, and everyone accepted her so well. Because of Bland's education, Gwen was a little apprehensive as to what to expect, but it wasn't long after we got there that we were just like always. There was one of the few places we've been together lately that we really could say that we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. Ray and Gwen have moved into the new home. It's very nice too. Their boy Jeff is really growing spoiled too. School is fine. They keep us pretty busy, but that's to be expected, I guess. Well, I'm not really wild about Fort Worth either. It's such a big, lonesome town. We haven't met anyone as yet that we can call close friends, and that will come with time, I guess. But hope we can come to Wichita Falls soon as you can meet Bland. I've run out of things to write about, so I'll close. Write us again. Love always, Milt and Bland. March 15th, 1960. Dear Mom and Dad, I am sorry that I'm so poor about writing, but I'm always putting off letter writing, and then too I stay pretty busy here at the church. In fact, we're usually visiting this time of morning, but the pastor's out with visiting pastor from Oklahoma City, so I have a few spare minutes to write. I asked Mrs. Carter, our secretary, yesterday if I had you all on our mailing list, and I found that I had not done so. So after this week, you will get the weekly church paper. I will mail you the issue that had my picture in it in this letter. We're completely settled in our house now. Phil is with us, and we're just waiting on Rachel Lee and John to bring Carol down. We have decided, however, that if they don't come down soon, that we will go after her next week. I don't know how that I can take off a couple of days, but I guess I will have to if we don't hear something soon. I'm really busy with my Easter music for the choir. We were doing a cantata this year called Hallelujah, What a Savior. It is really a beautiful composition, and is really testing my skills to teach it to the choir. I wish that you all could come down on Easter Sunday, even when we're going to present it. I've also organized a junior choir made up of kids aged 9 through 12. You should see them. They really worked hard. It is something new for me, but I'm really enjoying it. Bland only works occasionally at the hospital. We have decided that it is more important for us to be with the children than to have them in a day nursery. Bill has really taken up to Bland. He is perfectly willing to stay with us. He doesn't even want to live with mothers anymore. Of course, he still visits with her occasionally, but he still wants to live with us. I hope that it is that way when Carol gets here. I fixed his electric train on a board the other night. He is really proud of it. He's old enough now to take good care of it. He won't let other kids in the neighborhood play with it either. Bland's brother-in-law gave Phil a parachute. I put it up in the backyard for a tent. He really gets a kick out of it. I don't know what I will do when the grass starts to grow. We're at the present trying to buy a piano, and I need one at home for my work, and then too the kids will still want to start taking soon. The only thing that bothers us are the payments. We are not paying on anything right now, and frankly I don't want to. It feels good not to owe debts everywhere. We visited our grandma's the other night. Everyone was looking well. I think they were glad to see us, and she'll probably write and tell you about it. Thank you for your letter. Write again soon. Love always, Milt, Bland, Phil, and Carol soon. December 11th, 1963. Meditations from the Minister of Music. This morning I came to the church wondering what to write you about, and as I was going through my mail I discovered a Christmas greeting. From a missionary friend of mine who works in the migrant camps in Flint, Michigan. I must give you a little history of this wonderful man and his family. I met him first in the summer of 1951 at a youth camp near Beulah, Colorado. He was an immediate challenge to my Christian life, and in a way, he is directly responsible for my being in Christian service today. You see, I surrendered to full-time Christian service during his last message at that camp on a cold, rainy July night in those Colorado mountains. I was just a boy of 16 at that time, and I've never forgotten that experience. You see, between that time and this, I've wandered far off several times, and I've always been brought back. God never forgot my promise. I'm glad he didn't. I've never seen this man again since that July evening, but I have never forgotten him either. We lost contact for many years, but in the fall of 1958, when I was in a very serious automobile accident in which my first wife was killed, again we began corresponding. He and his family were very faithful to remember me in their prayers. In the letter I received from him today, there was nothing but praise for the Lord. Although he has many trials, he still gives himself wholly to the Lord. I don't know how many years he's been on the mission field, but with all the temptations and trials he has had to endure, I am sure I would have given up long ago. Just in this Christmas greeting, he mentions that their car threw a rod and ruined the motor, and it will cost at least $180 to fix it. But there was not a word of begging for money. He knows that if he is faithful to the Lord, that he and his family will be taken care of. The man's name, Alvin B. Henry. Pray for him. He deserves your prayers. This Christmas, let's truly think of giving instead of receiving. You do your part, and the Lord will take care of his. Dear Grandmother, I got over being sick and I'm feeling a lot better. School is out for the summer here. I hope I get to visit you some this summer, and I like living in this new house better than I like the other one. I'm going to summer school for 6 weeks, but I'll be out after 6 weeks is up. Floppy, my dog, has had some puppies, but they are too ugly. Grandmother has been down at my house for 3 days. Hope she enjoyed staying here. Tim was in Abilene for 2 weeks, but he came back too. He had a wonderful time. How is everything at your house? Everything is fine here. Thank you very much for that nice letter. The weather right here is very nice today. I'm going to mow lawns this summer for $1, so I can have enough money for my vacation and other things. I got some new shirts and a pair of new socks. One of them is blue and the other one is yellow. Tim has some new shirts too. One of them is red and the other one is yellow. Love, Philip. Dear Mabel, Jean, and family, I appreciate getting your letter. I hate that you won't be in Dallas when you come back through. However, we are going to have to cut our vacation short. We plan to leave here early Saturday morning, June the 18th, and I plan to arrive back here Monday, June the 27th. I wish you could take a few more days and come by to see us. We talked to the teacher, and she said that it would be okay to take Phil out of summer school for a week, that the vacation would do him good. We also found out that Carol needs to go also. They would start Monday. They have had all this week off. They will just go from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., and that shouldn't be too hard for them. All they will take is language and arithmetic. Lancashire just started doing summer school this year. It is for those students that had trouble in those subjects, and it doesn't cost anything to go. Carol and Phil have always had trouble in arithmetic. I hope this helps them. We won't be able to come back through Lawton, since we will need to get back and get the kids back in school. Maybe we can arrange for them to see you later this summer. Phil had been sick, but I think that he had a virus to begin with, and I think he got to dreading going back to school. He is okay now, eating like a horse. I don't know what Mrs. Kaysen was referring to when she said that Milton had been sick, because he hadn't been sick lately. I'm glad that your mother is doing as well as she is and that you got to go see her. We stay pretty busy as usual. We are having vacation Bible school starting next week. There is enough work around the house to keep anyone busy, and we are trying to get our yard put in. We have planted a small garden. Some people from our church actually has loaned us a boat and motor. Milton has spent a lot of time working the boat over, repainting it. We're all looking forward to our vacation, and I'm sure you are also. We plan to go straight to the Vallecito Lake this year and spend all our time there instead of trying to do a lot of sightseeing. We hope to see you sometime this summer. Love, Bland, Milton, and kids. November 10th, 1965. Dear Grandmother Hatcher, I made an LA card on my report card. I have gotten your gift all ready to give to you. I have gotten other gifts too. Dad has taken Mom to work. I got a card from Aunt Shirley and it was very nice. I'm getting some new Sunday shoes too. It's been raining 3 days now. Dad got a new coat. It's made for rain and cold weather, and I have taken my vitamins every day. Is everything all right at home? Everything's fine here. I got a telescope for making a good report card. Carol made a good report card too. Dad got some real good bread at the bakery. Tim's taking a nap right now. We're waiting for Dad to get home so we can fix supper.